Are you ready to plan your assault? To dig in and defend.
Charge planted.
To siege.
Upstairs. Contact.
In this arena, bullets are nothing without brains. Survival is earned through improvisation.
Let him stick in his fucking ass! God damn it!
Here! You can change the game! In one bold move through improvisation and destruction. Are you ready to siege the day?
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Rev back with another video. Today is a little bit of a different video, more of an opinionated video. I will have some gameplay going on in the background, but it's mostly going to be me rambling on just for a while. Basically just talking about Rainbow Six Siege and kind of the progression it's been going towards for the past few months. I definitely haven't been happy with how they have handled pretty much everything. I will touch upon certain things that I like and don't like throughout the video. I do think Ubisoft has dealt with some situations correctly, but for the majority, they have been negative, which has made it harder and harder for me and my peers to support this game. Let's start off with something that has been a problem since the release of the game, and has clearly not been fixed, and in a way has gotten worse since the release, which is hit registration. If you played Rainbow Six Siege for more than a few hours, I'm sure you've called bullshit on at least a couple of shots that you think should have registered, but the game just doesn't. I don't know if I'm the only one here, but I think that this has become one of the biggest problems in Rainbow Six Siege, not only for the fan base, but for the creators of the game. Before I go into my main argument about hit registration, I am not a game developer, never have been a game developer, pretty much know nothing about game development, so I can imagine that it can be difficult to fix a major problem with a video game. But with that said, every other major first-person shooter doesn't have this many problems with hit registration. Ubisoft is a multi-million-dollar company and should know how to deal with this certain type of situation with the money that this game pulls in every single month. I'm going to show you on screen right now one of the main examples I have with hit registration. This was actually during Operation Health, towards the end of Operation Health, when they said they were trying to fix everything for a whole 3-month period. I'll get into that later. But you can see in the clip that I go to shoot a buck on Bank when they spawn in the back alley. I clearly shoot him in the face and nothing happens. I'm pretty sure I shoot him again. I don't have the clip right in front of me, but then he kills me. And I am kind of like baffled by what just happened, and it goes into like kind of like the kill cam before the kill cam when it zooms in on the guy, and there was blood splattered all behind him and he had full health. This was actually during a stream, so I couldn't have been lagging because my stream would have been lagging. I could also see the player's connection, which was not too high at all, so I don't think either of us were lagging. And this is one of hundreds of examples that I could show you. I could make an entire video on hit registration, as I'm sure most content creators on this website that post Rainbow Six Siege could. Since this has been a problem since the release of the game, I find it unbelievable that Ubisoft hasn't been able to fix this problem. Moving on to another hot topic that happened just a couple months ago. Operation Health. If you're new to the game or haven't been around for at least a couple months, you may not know what Operation Health is. So Rainbow Six Siege has a roadmap for each year that they have been doing since the release, where they show the DLC that is coming up for the entire year. I want to mention for the record that Ubisoft has never stuck to this roadmap. Everything always gets delayed. It's very common with Rainbow Six Siege and other Ubisoft games. But they had never done something like they did with Operation Health. If you didn't know, the Hong Kong operators that came out in Operation Blood Orchid, which dropped in late May of 2017, I thought it was odd that Ubisoft wasn't releasing any operator videos or any teasers for any new content coming up to a few weeks before the actual season was supposed to be released. And about a week before the new season was going to be released, they came out with this whole ordeal saying that the new season would be pushed back and that Operation Health would take its place. I'm sure many of you that are a avid fan of the game have seen the video when the developers are talking about Operation Health, acting like it's going to be some great big deal of changes that they're going to be making and all the new content that they're going to be bringing, such as alpha packs, new servers, etc. And while they did fulfill some of the promises, I felt like there was a lot more to be desired from the developers and Ubisoft as a whole when it came to Operation Health. We basically got alpha packs in the last month of Operation Health. It was a 3-month ordeal, by the way. And we got new servers pretty much when Blood Orchid came out. Now, I don't know about you, but I haven't noticed the new servers whatsoever. Hit registration is still awful, like I've mentioned. And pretty much no changes I can see on my end. I kind of saw Operation Health as kind of a 3-month vacation, or at least 2 months, considering they had to put out the alpha packs. But as a big vacation for Ubisoft almost, for doing such a great job on hit registration and how the game's been performing. I'm sure you could sense some sarcasm in my voice. I'm just kind of fed up with this game, to be completely honest, but I'll get into that later. But yeah, to wrap up Operation Health, I thought it was a complete failure. I thought that we'd be better off just getting Blood Orchid in the second season instead of Operation Health, because as you guys can tell, nothing has really changed with Operation Health besides alpha packs, which is, I guess, pretty much a good thing, because I like pulling the alpha packs, and I like that they're not microtransactions yet. I'm pretty sure they're going to release them for money. But yeah, Operation Health, big 2 thumbs down on that one. Let's get into the next topic. The third topic I wanted to talk about was taking maps out of the game, at least in casual. While I understand that new players don't want to be overwhelmed by the amount of content in the game, I think there are 2 sides to that coin. If you're a new player to Rainbow Six Siege, you may find that there is definitely a lot of content to learn. All the different angles, the top hatches, the objectives, how to play correctly, how to peek. Hundreds of little bits of information to sort of adapt to, which can be a lot for a new player. I can completely understand that. But I think Ubisoft handled this situation poorly, and let me tell you why. While Rainbow Six Siege is a growing game and new players are coming on every day, which is honestly great to see this community grow, the old players had not seen content for 6 months, and now you are taking content away from the game. But from a perspective of a player that's been playing since pretty much the release, it feels like you're just taking away content instead of giving us more content. While I did not personally like the map Yacht, I thought that it was a good change up from other maps like House or Chalet, Hereford Base, or any other map. I felt like it was really unique. There were a lot of flanking routes and such, and it also had a fair amount of breachable walls and stuff like that. I thought it was fairly a balanced map. Maybe not on a Pro League scale, but at least for casual and maybe even ranked style play. I don't think it made sense to take this map out of casual. Even Favela too. I find Favela to be a very fun map. Me and my friends play it in custom games all the time simply because we miss it so much. I can completely understand why Rainbow Six Siege wants to become more of an esports game and wants to put the ranked queue with maps-wise into kind of Pro League settings. But again, I feel like they chose the wrong path with that too. Pro League players make up less than 1% of this whole community that we call Rainbow Six Siege. And to cater to them as much as they have been doing, which I'll get into later, is completely ridiculous. I feel like they shouldn't have taken as many maps out of ranked as they did, and I feel like they shouldn't have taken any maps out of casual. Casual should be a place for people to have fun and not take the game as serious, while ranked, I can understand why they should take out the bad maps out of the game, or not the most balanced maps out of the game, because they want the most balanced gameplay on offense and defense. One more thing I wanted to add on to the map selection of this game. I personally think that Bartlett University is a way worse and less balanced map than Favela or Yacht. Honestly, on offense, there's nowhere to get into the objective. I feel like the map is heavily defensive based, And honestly, if they shouldn't have released it if they weren't ready, because this map is completely unbalanced. It is my least favorite map in the game, and I wouldn't be that sad if they honestly took it out of the game. I want to talk about the way that Ubisoft and Rainbow Six Siege developers take in their feedback and the methods that they take to take in feedback. Ubisoft and Rainbow Six Siege developers have stated many times that they mainly listen to Pro League players when it comes to game updates, game balances, anything of that stature. While Pro League players definitely know the game better than most people, and they do play the game a lot more than the average viewer, they make up such a small percentage of what this game is, and primarily listening to them is just a mistake in my opinion. I think Ubisoft should have a poll on their main menu of the game where people can vote each week on stuff they want to happen. I feel like having a little section that people can complete once a week that would take about 5 minutes, just answering a couple of questions, talking about game balances, operator nerfs and buffs, taking out maps out of the game, would greatly help with getting an honest feedback from pretty much everybody. I also think that they should take more feedback from places like Reddit, Twitter, and other social media platforms where Ubisoft and Rainbow Six Siege are widely present. Another thing that they could listen to is bigger content creators like on YouTube and Twitch, because they also play the game for a large amount of the time. And honestly, they should just be taking feedback pretty much from everybody. I feel like that poll idea is a great way for Ubisoft to kind of listen and get an honest feedback and opinion from pretty much everybody in the community and see what they want. Getting on to my last topic, this is kind of a highly opinionated topic, so please keep that in mind when listening to this last topic. I want to talk about operator balancing in Rainbow Six Siege. Getting right into it, I feel as 3-speed operators completely still dominate the game when it comes to pretty much every type of playstyle in Rainbow Six Siege. Not only are they super fast, 3-speed operators tend to have some of the best weapons in the game. They seem to dodge bullets when it comes to hit registration, and I honestly feel like you're more often to win a firefight typically because you are a 3-speed operator in Rainbow Six Siege. I can't tell you how frustrating it is when I see an Ashe every time in Rainbow Six Siege. I feel like I'm going to die simply because of the game, and there's nothing I can do about it. Not only is she fast, but she has one of the best assault rifles in the game with the R4C. Her gadget is ridiculous for rushing. And honestly, I feel like she's completely broken. I feel like she's faster than a 3-speed operator. I feel like she's more of a 5-speed operator if you get my drift. Big content creator Macy J, his name in Rainbow Six Siege was 5-speed Ashe for a long time. I found it very comical, but I also felt like he was addressing the problem in this game with 3-speed operators. And Ashe is not the only one. I find Hibana to be pretty good. Not as good as Ashe, but I feel like she's right up there. Ella, with this new gadget and everything, I feel like she is completely broken. I feel like she needs a huge nerf. Frankly, I feel like Ashe and Ella should be taken out of the game completely for the next season so they can be reworked and reassessed, because I feel like they are completely broken and have been a complete mistake on Ubisoft's part ever since the game is released. Since the game's first DLC, which was Operation Black Ice, which introduced Buck and Frost into the game, as well as the map Yacht, they have been balancing out operators, such as taking away gadgets, changing their armor and speed ratios, and anything like that. Somehow, someway, Ashe, who is a base game character, which means she came out when the game released, has somehow weaseled her way into a position where Ubisoft doesn't feel like she needs to be buffed or nerfed. And in my honest opinion, I feel like 3-speed operators still do dominate the game to this day. I feel like they have for a long time. And even with these new trap operators, nothing seems to be really changing with 3 speeds. It just seems to be kind of ruining the game as a whole instead of just nerfing the 3 speeds, in my opinion. But yeah, guys, that is the video. Thank you so much for watching. This is definitely going to be a longer video than I thought. I kind of rambled a little bit, but I hope you enjoyed watching. Please leave a comment giving your opinions below. Try to respect everybody's opinions in the comments. I will delete certain people's comments who are just blatant assholes and don't respect opinions while giving their own in a very aggressive manner. So I encourage you to all give your honest opinion, but still be respectful of everyone, including my opinion. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe for other Rainbow Six Siege related content, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Feeling like a
I've been feeling like a motherfucking postman, sending letters to the people